Work continues on our largest, most complicated project to date. We're putting over 1,600 square feet of roof over our back patio and carport area. We're in the shop this week working on our metal trusses. The roof system has three main truss components. There's an area over the back patio, the trusses over the car parking, and then the transition between the two spots. The trusses over the back patio and the carport are going to have multiples of each of those types, with a small variation on some of them. So the best way I know how to fabricate identical parts is to make a jig. That way, if it is slightly off, they're all slightly off together. Once we're done with this project, we'll never use this jig again. So I'll make it out of wood and hopefully not catch it on fire too many times. I'll start by laying out 3 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood and connecting them with some scrap 2x4s. The wood has a bit of bowing in it, but we can get that to lay flat once we get the metal down. Next step is to lay out the truss design. We're going to measure multiple times and in multiple ways, ensuring that we're as accurate as possible. Once it's all done, we'll chalk up some lines and screw in some wood blocks to clamp to. Cool. Last thing I really need to do is just build a in-feed and out-feed table of the new bandsaw here to make these, where'd it go? Right there. To make the 20-foot sticks of material here easier to manage while cutting it. Alright, let me get those out-feed tables and in-feed tables built, and we'll get to building our first truss. Well, I thought I'd save some time and get all the pieces cut up and cleaned before the next step. I got the first truss here welded up. It's basically done. However, I do need to weld on the back side, which was the flat side on the ground, to finish it up. I'll walk you through how I made it. So the first thing is to lay all the pieces down and clamp them in place. There are 3 main points that need to be identical to every truss. The other areas, if they're off a little bit, it won't be noticed or won't hurt, but these 3 pieces are vital to the success of this truss. The first one is the center line. The second is the post mounting. And the third is the placement of the lumber cup holders. At this stage, right now, we're just worried about the bottom tier cup holders. I'll end up making a jig for the top tier later on. The webbing here can be approximate. It will all still carry the load and look pretty uniform once it's up in the air. We're going to try to get as accurate as possible, but I'm not going to worry too much if it moves a millimeter or so. Next, we're going to go through and tack everything in place, going through in multiple planes. I'm again tack up the 3 main parts first, and then I'll follow back up with the other pieces. I'll be hopping around quite a bit to make sure no heat is put into one spot. Once it's all done, it's time to put in the fat welds. Again, I'll start with the 3 main components that I really care about being in one place, bouncing around in between them, and then follow it up with everything else. I'll make sure to weld the 3 planes here, but also I want to think about how the water will drain out of here. So I'll be leaving the channel open so water can at least trickle out down this spot right here. Alright buddy, well I'll leave you there. I'm about to hit the road on a 10-hour trip with the wife and a 5-week-old for a family reunion. When we get back, hopefully I'll have all these welded up and be on to the next stage, but if not, we'll just get right back to it. Alright, thanks y'all. Come on back now.